So you probably think like, okay, if I go and do a PhD, then it's going to open all these doors for me, right? Like a lot of people think, oh, the more level of education, the higher level of education you get, the easier it's going to be to get a job in the future. And this is something that I used to believe for years and years and years and years. And then when it actually came time, at the end of my PhD, I thought to myself, okay, it's not going to be too difficult now, right? Because obviously I have this qualification that's going to help me stand out. But the craziest thing that I've actually learned at the end of the journey, and don't get me wrong, it's not a journey that I trade for anything. I mean, I've learned more about myself during this and managed to develop my skills. But one thing I will say with like quite strong confidence here is that getting the PhD is great, but when you come to the finish line, that's going to be very useful in getting academic jobs, but getting all kinds of jobs. I mean, I've been in interviews where they didn't ask me a single question about my PhD, but they asked me about my industry sponsor experience and the things that I had done during my time with industry. I've had, job interviews where they've not even mentioned it. And I thought that would be the first thing that they'd want to talk about is my research experience, and obviously research experience gives you a lot of skills, but they're only really going to be bringing up your PhD in academic jobs. And it occurred to me, and this is something that I know now, that having a PhD is only really useful if you want to get an academic job. It is useful for some research jobs in the private sector, but I think that's quite a small number, if I'm being honest. Don't let this put you off and discourage you from doing a PhD, but it's just something to keep in mind, and it's a lesson that I learned over 3.5 years doing one. Anyway, thanks for watching.